And welcome to another edition of the Big Nick Energy Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Yolk. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, and Podbean. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and join our new Facebook group. And most importantly, join the BKE Chalkboard. It's a new message boarding app that is not designed specifically around gambling and sports. Our page is about 60 members now. Once we get to 100, we're going to be doing a Knicks ticket giveaway. So we're 40 members away on Chalkboard from giving out 2 free tickets to a Knicks game. I am here with a very special guest today, one of our first ever guests that we had on our podcast, contributor to the Knicks Wall, the namesake of the Morning Drive with Danny B, and the most positively renowned person on all of Knicks Twitter. I'm very confident in saying that. The one and only Danny B. How you doing today, man?
My man, I appreciate that intro. What a wonderful way to be welcomed so warmly onto your show, man. I appreciate that very much.
I've never seen a single person say bad to you, anything about you, so I have to say that.
Oh man, I got to point you in the direction of some people I know. They definitely can. We won't go there though. No, man, I appreciate it very much. Me and you, BKE all together goes very way back. So always appreciate you welcoming me on. I always love coming on, chopping it up with you, talking shop. What else is there, man? You know what I mean? Knicks.
Let's go Knicks, man. Are you an NFL fan as well, or do you just mostly follow basketball?
Man, I've been so entrenched in the Knicks as a whole, probably for like the last year and a half, 2 years now, that I really haven't been paying attention to any other sports. And it kind of kills me a little bit inside. I grew up a diehard Ranger fan, right? So I love hockey. And I've been taking a back seat there.
Dude, it's so hard to follow both when you're doing this. I can't follow hockey at all while being a part of BKE.
I'm going to find a way. I definitely am, because it's been way too long. I haven't even played any sport in way too long. So
Jesus.
I got to find a way to get some time. Yeah, man. But in football, I'm a Jets guy. So
let's go. We suck.
We do. But we had a good start to the season. I thought we laid the foundation, for, what you want to see, moving forward, kind of a lot like what we saw in, year one with Tibbs, minus obviously, the playoffs, but that's what you want to see. It's, kind of things being set to go in the right direction. Obviously, you like what Mike White's showing you as a QB, and it's tough because the QB position in New York, man, it's like the point guard position, in basketball.
Yeah, agreed.
It never works out. So hopefully, JB, Brunson kind of resets that, with Knicks basketball, and that could kind of follow suit throughout. Obviously the Giants have been doing pretty well with their QB and Daniel Jones.
I think he earned a contract, honestly. I think they were going to actually keep him, which is wild to think from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, how it all turned out. All I see, man, is that long run that he had where he tripped up down the field. I can't get that out of my head.
Dude, I mean, the turf monster gets everyone once in a while.
It does, man. It does. Listen, you're trying to move those legs as fast as you can. At some point, your brain and legs are probably going to have a disconnect if that's not your main job.
Once you hit 20 miles an hour, I'm pretty sure it's gone.
All bets are off.
The reason why I brought up the NFL is because I actually wanted to make this. It's good that you're a Jets fan, so I'm going to talk about a division rival for 1 second. The New York Knicks are the Miami Dolphins of the NBA right now. They follow. So the Dolphins won 5 in a row, lost 4 in a row, won 2 in a row. And the Knicks have literally gone from an 8-game win streak to a 5-game lose streak to a 3-game win streak. And I would actually attribute Jalen Brunson being the version of Tua Tagovailoa that they've had. Yeah, because when we missed him, it just bad things started happening.
Yeah, it's true. It's tough. When you say 8, 5, and 3 like that, right? Like the first thing I picture, and I mentioned this in the morning drive last week, is the a roller coaster, right?
Yes.
Like 8 games, you're going straight up, and then all of a sudden, the 5 games down, that's almost the whole way back down, know. And then you're pulling up 3 games again. So that's that roller coaster of the season that you get, But you look at it as a whole, what is that? 11-5 over the last 16 games. So in reality, that's pretty damn good, right? So I said this the other day, and I think about it. If we didn't win 8 in a row and then lose 5 and then win 3, if those 11 wins came a little bit different, right? Say we won 2 in a row, then we lost 2, then we won 3 in a row, lost 2, then 1-1, 1-1. You know what I mean? If it was just different to the same outcome of 11-5, 11-6, whatever it is, it's a different experience, a different roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? And I think that people would be able to stomach what we're seeing a little bit more. I think the 8 wins kind of plateaued people to a certain height, and then the 5 wins dropped them down, and people don't have stomachs for that. I know I don't do roller coasters like that, Joe. I can't do it, man.
I always do roller coasters, man. I think it's because I'm a masochist when it comes to my sports teams. I just love going on the highest of highs and riding the lowest of lows.
It's a New York sports fan through and through.
Oh yeah. It's a quick recap for the 3-game win streak, starting with the Houston game last week on New Year's Eve. The Knicks won 108-88. Randle. The first 2 games were this one was without Brunson.
Right.
Randle 35, 12, and 6 got to the line 16 times, which was really good. IQ second fiddle in this game, 27, 5, and 7 with 3 steals. And then Grimes doing his 3-and-D thing with 19 points. Porter Jr. had 23, 10, and 8. Jalen Green had 16 points. Both of those players had 5 turnovers in the game. And with how young the Rockets are and them being the worst team in the West, second worst in the league, losing by 20 in a game like this is kind of to be expected.
Oh, for sure. But it took Randle putting the team on his back and quick to step up. There was a lot of little factors that really came into play, and everybody kind of had to play their part for us to pull that out. You know what I mean? There was, it took a little bit for us to kind of put that foot down, you know what I mean, and really turn it up. And kudos to Randle. You know what I mean? Randle's just been killing it this stretch really since the beginning of December now, where he's been playing with that extra effort. And that to me is the key with Randle, is the extra effort. When you're seeing him give effort on both ends of the ball and not quit on plays, and you know what I mean, and make those second, third hustle attempts, that right there is huge for us. He's such an important piece to this team. So when you're getting that extra from him, it really helps us put us in a position to win,
Absolutely. And with IQ actually playing the way a lot of people assume he can when he's like being the number 1 point guard, putting up 27 like that and actually getting 7 assists, it made it worthwhile so much.
It definitely did. My thing with IQ is the confidence. I feel like he's kind of taken a step back. Like the one thing that really made IQ,
he is a roller coaster.
He is. He really is. But like the one thing that really made IQ right from the get-go was how he let it rip. Right. Yep. How quick he let it fly. He saw the spot before he even got there and shot it. And I feel like he was comfortable playing with that. And since he's gotten more responsibilities and the roster's kind of changed a little bit and he's grown into more of a role, I feel like the hesitation is there a little bit more often, and you kind of see him where he has the shot open for that quick, because he shoots quick.
Yeah.
And he looks it off, and maybe he feels like he doesn't have that time, or maybe he feels like maybe I should look for another option first. But that decision's got to become quicker. You know what I mean? You got to be thinking about that before you get the ball. And then when you get the ball, know what you're doing with it right away. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's got to get back to that a little bit. You saw a little bit of that last night. I know I'm jumping games a little bit, getting into the Spurs game. So let's backtrack a little bit to Brunson's return.
No, it's all good. You can make the connection and I'll go back to it. Well, what'd you see last night from IQ before I go to this the Suns game? Because the Suns game was trash anyway. I can skip over that. We won by 20 and it was still trash.
Yeah, it was. And listen, to be able to even say that, is a good thing, because in years past, right, you're playing a Suns team that is as good as it is when it has Devin Booker, of course. But even so, without Booker, they play decent. They've just been on a skid recently, and we were able to.
They sell Bridges, Ayton, and Chris Paul out there. You'd assume that they're not looking the way they do.
Right. Exactly. So I'll still take that all day.
So to go over the Suns game super fast, it was Brunson's first game back after missing 3 games. He came back 24, 4, and 6.
Yeah. Yep.
24. Randle still led the team. You could tell Brunson was still getting his feet wet a little bit. And thankfully the Knicks were up 20 most of the game, 28, 16, and 6. And the two of them got to the line a combined 23 times, which I'm going to mention again in a sec. The Suns without Devin Booker, as you mentioned, were led by DeAndre Ayton, who scored a whopping 12 points. It's funny to use stats in a various way, because when the Suns had 5 scorers in double figures, and when you say that, you're like, oh, it's a really well balanced game. They probably either won or were really close. Their 5 combined scorers had 12, 11, 10, 10, 10. So that's not good at all.
Right. No, definitely not. And I'll tell you, man, Mitch was pumped. He went right on social media after the game and started posting clips and highlights. Because Ayton was, listen, when you get drafted behind so many different guys, people, you hear this all the time. People remember that, and so every time that they go up against each other, you see that, and it's tough, because there's games when it doesn't happen, like the Spurs, for some reason, Mitch doesn't, he has a harder time, and it's weird because it's like that game is when
he doesn't wake up for Bianca Pirtle. I get it. It's not exciting.
Yes, man. But listen, they made Pirtle Wordle a game for a reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you gotta come on, man. You gotta rise to the challenge. But yeah, the Suns game, they ended up winning again, like you said, 103-82. Randle had another great game, keeps making a case for his all-star bid. And then last night, we get the game against the Suns.
Yep.
And you look, before the game and you're thinking, all right, it's the Spurs. It should be just like the last two games, right? We should roll right over them. And that's
But
not
you
the
worry
case.
because we lost to them last week. And then sure enough, we go up this game to up 10 at the end of the first quarter. They only end up winning by 3. And it took a lot of fourth quarter, like more of the Spurs messing up from their youth, the same way the Rockets kind of messed up because of their youth, than us succeeding. Like Jeremy Sohan getting a 5-second call when you have a timeout, like that is a
Yeah.
pure rookie blunder that you would never see. Like if Jalen Brunson's throwing the ball, that's not happening. That's just pure inexperience. Speaking of Jalen Brunson, he led the team regular season career high. He did have 41 last year in the postseason. So I hate when people say he's a career high because
Right.
38
No,
is less than 41. He had 38 points, seven rebounds, 6 assists, which is pretty dope. Randle had 25 points on 26 shots. Not the most efficient, but he still had 13 boards and 3 steals and 4 blocks, which is huge because Mitch only played 4 minutes in the first half, only played 13 in the game because of foul trouble. Starting with Randle's defense and then Brunson's overall effort, what did you like the most out of those two?
Oh man, so Randall's defense, I mean, first thing that pops in my head was that first quarter chase down block. I mean, that's what we need from him. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago, right? For me, for Randall to be successful, it's extra effort. Just give me extra effort every game. That's it. Obviously the next thing probably on the list is letting emotion go. You know what I mean? Like
those two
take a
things
deep
literally go
breath and
hand in
let each
hand.
play go. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. And but Brunson, he was just a magician last night. He was able to, oh man, just get inside whenever he needed to, right? So getting inside, that hesitation that he pulls off, the shots on the elbow, even just the banks off the glass are nice. Then he gets a 3 ball to drop every now and then also. Just such a great piece to have. It's so nice to be able to rely on a point guard who just takes over like that, especially when we need him to in close games like that fourth quarter last night. But the one thing that I know you probably want to say something, I saw that, but the one thing I just wanted to mention before you do, Joe, is that I noticed last night, right? You mentioned Randall was well, he was 9 of 26, right?
9
And
26, 25 points on the 26 shots.
so 26 shots. Brunson was 7 of 27. No, 17 of 27.
Yeah, no, he was very efficient to get there.
So 55 shots taken between Brunson and Randall last night. Right now, if you look at the totals from Grimes and IQ, they only got
21
off, I think,
shots total.
21. Yeah,
IQ
21
had
shots.
13. Grimes only had 8.
Now, and I hate doing this because I'm so not into only looking at numbers, right? Like for me, basketball analysis really should be a combination of numbers and the eye test, and you put them together, and that's what you get. Because numbers really don't reflect everything. But you look at it, right? And the assist total, we only had 16 assists for the game, 8 in the first half, 8 in the second. And you're looking at that, and Rick Brunson halftime, right, talking to Rebecca Harlow, saying how, the Knicks not moving the ball. It's not the way that we play. Not the way that the boys, like to play. And it's so true, and I understand that we got a little bit heavy into the ISO with Randall and Brunson, and at times it was needed, but we got to move that ball a little bit better. And I feel like that's where we got stuck in the mud. The second quarter when it happened, it was the bench unit, so not really on the first line, but that fourth quarter, the Spurs outscored us off the bat 18-7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that can't happen, and we just made it harder for ourselves. I saw people talking online saying the Spurs lost the game, not that the Knicks won it. And that's, it's something to consider. I don't know if I would 100% agree with it.
It's a little true. It is based a lot of their inexperience. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So it's just something to keep an eye on. I know it doesn't always go this route where they get such a heavy share of the shots, but I definitely want to see that spread out a little bit more. I definitely want to see that ball move, right? Continue to move for each other. Grimes is huge. I think that's why he's so successful in that first unit, because there's so many times where you get stagnant with the ball, and here comes Grimes moving without it and just creating, collapses on the D and different movements and getting guys open. And that's so big, so it was good to see us actually pull out the win in the macro, like we were just saying. We're 11-5. Yeah, so we're 11-5 in the last 16 games, right? But people would say we lost 5 and then won 3. So it's all about the perspective of it. The macro, I think we're doing fine. We just got to keep on doing what we're doing successful and keep at it. And you can't take that foot off the gas. Defense is the identity that you're riding on. You got to come with it, every single night. And in the micro, we as fans are analyzing what's going on a game-to-game basis. So that's going to always be there, so sometimes you got to kind of take a step out and look at it from a bird's eye view. Sometimes you lose a beautiful game and sometimes you win an ugly game, but all that matters is the W's and L's at the end of the game. Yep. 100%, man. So we have to go a little quick because just so everyone knows, this is going to be a shorter podcast because I'm an idiot. I locked out of Vin's account and now I have a 7-minute time frame left on this free account that we use for Zoom. So Danny, I want to talk to you about the All-Star voting. So the All-Star voting, the first ballot came out today. We all saw the first, just so everyone knows, the top 5 for the East were KD, Giannis, Embiid, Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, which Donovan Mitchell, ouch, hurts a little bit. We'll skip past that. Based on the stats of these other players, the most likely of Brunson or Randle to make it, it appears to be Julius Randle in the front court, more so than Jalen Brunson in the backcourt, based on 2 things. One, apparently we as New Yorkers or Knicks fans don't vote enough, which kind of blows my mind. Nick Claxton is in the top 10 for front court voting and not Julius Randle or Mitchell Robinson, which kind of is a stupid thing. But secondly, just for everyone who hears the stats real quick, Jalen Brunson is averaging almost 21, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Based on his name, Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan, Tyrese Halliburton, and Darius Garland, LaMelo Ball and James Harden were also listed on the thing, but they didn't play enough games to really qualify yet. He's honestly 5th out of these people I mentioned. So it's really hard if they only let 2 to 4 other backcourt guys in to imagine he'd get in there. Right. But for Julius Randle's part, who's competing with Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Kuzma, Paolo Banchero, Nick Claxton, WTF, and Jared Allen. And then I actually listed Kristaps Porzingis and Evan Mobley because Porzingis has better stats than Kuzma and Mobley has better stats than Allen on their teams. Randle was 3rd behind Tatum and Siakam. And he was actually ahead of Jimmy Butler. He's ahead of Bam. So that also makes sense because the Knicks are literally better than the Heat right now in the standings. I don't see much of a world where Jalen Brunson makes it, honestly, right now. I see a large world where Julius Randle makes the All-Star game again. What say you? I'm with you. I don't think that JB did it early enough. I think that he's just, I don't even want to say lately, but I want to say it's just, there's a lot going on, like you said, you know what I mean? There's so many people that are putting up stats, even Randle, you know what I mean? To be where he's at in terms of the game starting, even being scoring's at like the highest it's been since the 80s or something. It's so much more than just the stats, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it in terms of the voting also. And the way that you vote this year is different from last year, right? Last year you were able to hop right on Twitter, put a hashtag, Julius Randle, and that's a vote. Now if you go to the website, they want to get the clicks. 100%. And so that's a big thing. People are lazy, man. Like as a content creator, I'm being straight up. It's tough to have people go from one place to another, right? So the fact that you're already doing that with the voting, you're putting a ton of people out of the mix. And it's not all on us because, as Knicks fans, if you're diehard Knicks fans, you should be making the point to go on wherever the hell you have to go to vote for your guys and your team, but I think that the bad taste left in Knicks fans' mouths from just the way that the season's going from the start, and the roller coaster in itself, I think also plays into, Knicks fans not showing out in the voting polls, so I think there's a lot more that goes into it, but it's a shame. It's definitely a shame when you got a guy like Randle, I think, who's a little bit more deserving of it than Brunson at the moment. I just think that he's more of an MVP of this team. Yes, Brunson is spectacular, right? And I would say Brunson is undoubtedly the leader of our team, but he's not the best player. That's the best way to put it. Brunson is absolutely the leader that people wanted Randle to be. But Randle's performing. I think JB is a big piece in making Randle better. Does that give Brunson a little bit of MVP-ish, qualities? Yes, absolutely. But for Randle to still take it to the next level and do it consistently this stretch, I think that it just shows that, he definitely does deserve it. Not to say that Brunson doesn't. I just think that Randle's got a little bit more of a bid in my mind. Agreed. I couldn't have said it better myself. And like I was saying, Randle's path to get there in the front court is way easier than Jalen Brunson's path in the back court. To it, for sure.
It's
Definitely.
just Brunson literally is averaging like 7 less points than like 3 other dudes ahead of him. It's unbelievable. Like 7 less points, 3 less assists. It's just, and he hasn't played every game. It's just harder to get there.
And then every single night you're hearing of guys putting up 50, 60, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
71. But yeah, so it's been an interesting season overall, not just for the Knicks.
Do you see the time left as well, or is that only on my screen?
Meeting time.
Okay, so you don't. So we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, according to the thing I have.
Because we rolled before.
I pressed record 10 minutes in because we
Maybe
had a
it's just when we
conversation, but apparently it only gives you 40 minutes from when you enter the Zoom. So that's sad.
I
So in
wonder
the
how long
next,
we've been.
it goes to 40 at the end, no matter what. So we must have talked for like 10 minutes prior to actually going on.
Right.
So Danny, real quick, the next 3 games, we play at
Tough.
Toronto, who's currently 16-22, lost for the last 5, home for Milwaukee, and then home for Indy. Milwaukee's good, obviously, and Indy is tied with us in the conference. How do you see the next 3 games going?
I've been thinking about this yesterday, actually. This, to me, we can go 2-1, but we have to play, you know what I mean? We have to show up. You can't go into these next 3 games like we went into the San Antonio Spurs game, right?
No shot. We'll go in 3.
Let me rephrase. We shouldn't go into these next 3 games playing like we did after the first quarter of the San Antonio Spurs game. You know what I mean? And you got to bring it. We have to bring it. We have to be disciplined. And we need Mitch Robinson. Mitch is huge, man. 4 minutes in that first half, we were able to pull it out, I think, by 7 at halftime.
Yep.
But still not much of a factor in the second half either. When he's on, man. He's a huge piece to why our defense is what it is when we're at our best. So he's going to be a big piece to it. We need everybody to show up, and if we do, and we do it consistently, I think that we could easily come out of this next 3-game trip 2-1. RJ,
I would love that.
Expecting to be back by this 3-game, these 3 games coming up, but I'm not sure if that'll be likely now. I'm thinking maybe more towards the end of next week. And maybe even further, man. It was made to sound like it wasn't too bad of an injury. I know it's less than 1 minute, but clearly it was because he's been out for so long. So I think we go 2-1, but we got to come out to play. We can't be lackadaisy, take the foot off the gas. We got to get back to it.
I'll take 2-1 as well, for sure. I'll take 2-1 as well. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe us. Do the same thing for BKE and the Knicks Wall. Find me at Twitter and Instagram at Joey Landolfa. Find Danny B on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll do this again soon anyway. We'll definitely do this again soon.
And again, I want to thank Danny B for coming on. We unfortunately had some minor difficulties, so the connection got cut short at the end of the video. To plug all of his stuff that I know of anyway, find Danny on Twitter and on Instagram at Dan_NY_B. Make sure to listen to his morning drive every morning after Knicks games and find all of his stuff on at the Knicks Wall. All of their videos are also on YouTube under the Knicks Wall. Find them on Google, find them on Instagram, Twitter, etc. Make sure to push them and us both up the algorithm. And once again, you can find all of my stuff at Joey Landolfa on Twitter and Instagram, at Big Nick Energy _ on Twitter, at Big Nick Energy on Instagram. Join our Facebook group, Big Nick Energy, and our Chalkboard Sports messaging page as well, which is the most important one. Once we get 40 more members on Chalkboard, so we'll get to 100 total, we'll be doing a Knicks ticket giveaway. So we need 40 more people to sign up and join Chalkboard. The link to that is pinned to our Twitter. And yeah, that's it. It was a great pod. Let's go Knicks. Peace.